Leaders who share their knowledge for the betterment of the industry. The most followed, retweeted, and liked mortgage professionals. 50 most connected mortgage professionals. Brought to you by Remen Wholesale.
Hi, I'm Carl Markman with Remen Wholesale. We're incredibly proud of our history of educating and partnering with the broker and banker community to prepare you for what's next. We've always been committed to same-day turn times on initial underwrites, which allows us to earn your business each and every day. We're happy to sponsor the following program.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of National Mortgage Professionals 50 Most Connected Mortgage Pros. I'm your host, Rick Grant. Today's program is brought to you by Remen Wholesale. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Adam Stein. He's the CEO of LoanTek, and he's one of the industry's 50 most connected mortgage pros. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Adam, let me go.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to start off asking you why social media is so important to you, so we can get right into it.
Well, it's kind of funny, Rick, social media tells the story of your business. I think in some ways for most of your viewership in the mortgage origination, particularly in the primary side, the business to consumer is a lot easier and it's a lot more digestible for those consumers to establish that all-important trust, right? They start learning more about your company as opposed to just maybe the traditional internet marketing shtick of lead generation, right? I think that's particularly important in millennials. But I'm finding in a business-to-business opportunity when we provide software to mortgage originators, right, that trust and information that's conveyed through social media is no less important.
Well, that makes good sense. And I understand why a lot of marketing managers would do that, but as CEO, how do you find time and why do you think it's important that you find time?
Well, so from a CEO perspective, there's several CEOs that do this, and it really comes down to thought leadership. And thought leadership is a very powerful message to engage in. It's less salacious. It tends to be more genuine. And it really provides constructive information for those that are digesting that content as opposed to merely digesting maybe your tagline or your sales line. So it serves a couple of purposes. I think it can inform everybody from the employees of an organization, your coworkers, but also inform your customers as well.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Now, one of the reasons we've heard marketing managers and other managers say they're kind of worried about really encouraging social media throughout the organizations is because they're afraid that something will get posted that shouldn't be. How do you decide what to post and what to keep off your social media profiles? So
I think that's a valid concern if you think about your average compliance concerns with the CFPB. And a lot of loan originators are great on the street loan officers, and they do have good stories, and they generally want to be a good representation for your business, but they're not necessarily going to know every possible way they could trip up on compliance. So I think it's safe to say you might want to keep them into stories that are real estate based and community based, but aren't specifically mortgage origination based. And frankly, when you talk to some of the millennial strategists about social media, you're going to find that that's sort of the powerful sort of alternative branding that you need to do that's more relative than price point and APR to somebody who's actually doing their homework on you. They want to know about your engagement in the community, what your business stands for, what you as a loan originator stand up or how you show essentially relative to some of the other values that they might actually carry online, completely independent of price.
That makes perfect sense. Adam, I know you're busy. Let me ask you one more question. And I ask a lot of people this question, but not a lot of CEOs, because we don't get a lot of them on the show. So as a CEO speaking maybe to another chief executive, what's your best tip for getting those busy executives involved in social media?
Frankly, it is thought leadership. And if you can't find time to write it, find a writer. Back in the days before technology, I remember when executives would have office assistants and you'd take this letter down, right? If all you have time to do is to list your bullet points and flush those out, there's lots of English majors and literature majors in college that need side work. Some of them are excellent writers. And I'll be honest with you, this is one of my tips. I do this personally. If I can't get the message out and construct it in the time frame that I've got, I try and produce weekly content I have writers that I can rely on. If I'm on the road, I can get those bullet points out. I can call one of my people and say, hey, I need a piece on this. And then I still review it and edit it, but I've got somebody on point to do that. And that's not expensive labor, but it pays huge dividends in getting your content out and your message across.
Great leadership advice. Awesome. We've been visiting with Adam Stein. He's the CEO of LoanTek. Adam, thanks for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much.
And thanks to all of you for watching. Until next time, for Mortgage News Network, I'm Rick Grant. This is Mortgage News Network.